So, Harry Potter, the TV show, or not TV, but whatever, the show, um, newly announced Harry Potter TV writer Andy Greenwald does not like the idea of a rigorous adaptation of the books and said he has not read the books. I'm sorry, but if you're taking a beloved franchise that has, what, 7 books, maybe you should have read them. You know, when you don't stick to source material or you don't know the source material, things tend to suffer. They tend to suffer. Rings of Power. So, you're taking the books and your books to screen. So, one would think that maybe you should know what you're talking about. Maybe you should have read the books, because you can't adapt books to screen if you don't know the books. One of the newly announced writers for Max's upcoming Harry Potter TV series, Andy Greenwald, claimed that he did not like the idea of a rigorous adaptation of J.K. Rowling's books, despite admitting that it would be successful. Furthermore, he admitted to not even finishing reading all the books. Greenwald was announced as one of the writers on the show on the Writers Guild of America's website. His previous credits include being the showrunner for Briar Patch and working on FX's Legion. The Legion. Best moment in the movie. That stupid little laugh. That it's so good. So good. They have a compilation of him doing it like all language, like every language that it was translated into. It's great. It really is. On his podcast, The Watch, back in February, Greenwald was asked about if it would be possible to directly adapt Rowling's Harry Potter novels to television. He initially bluntly responded, "Yes." "Yes," Greenwald said calmly. Now, before people were going to say, "Well, what about the movies? They weren't really faithful and blah blah." Yeah, but some of that unfaithfulness led to some really good things. Like, "Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? Did you have one of the other students vote for you? Are you absolutely sure?" But then in the book, it's, "Did you put your name into the goblet of fire, Harry?" Dumbledore asked calmly. So, you know, it led to that. It led to that. Freaking Dumbledore rushing in like a madman, grabbing, he's like, "Did you put your name into the goblet of fire? Did you have one of the other students do it for you?" Oh god. Oh, Dumbledore. That's sad. Both Dumbledores are gone. Richard Harris and Michael Gambit. No, that's sad. Both of them. Both of them are gone. That's insane. And now we've lost freaking Maggie Smith, Professor McGonagall. Freaking sucks getting old. Sucks getting old. He then explained just how popular the novels and franchise are. "These are really, really rich, and they are very long books, especially later in the series. People adore them, and successful generations are discovering them and loving them every day, except for the people who aren't. And they're like, J.K. Rowling said something I don't agree with. Time to burn all my Harry Potter books and remove my Harry Potter tattoos. And These stories are packed everywhere, and they're in the country and around the world. People are buying the chocolate frogs and the hats and the owls and the hi. All of it. You can monetize almost every single aspect of it. Harry Potter flavored condoms." "You're protected, Harry." And they kind of have. Next, he stated, so the idea of an incredibly rigorous text-to-screen adaptation is, I think, probably a safe bet to success. However, he then shared his thoughts of this. If something is trumpeting its absolute rock-steady faithfulness, I think the pleasures that can be derived from that are probably not going to be for me because I didn't read all the books. I read them to my older daughter until she could read them on her read them for herself, and then she dusted me. And then I think maybe there's some other creative possibilities that this world, J.K. Rowling controls all of it, and it's not going to let anyone else. It's not going to let anyone else come play with her toys, and that's her right. It's obviously very profitable for her, and that's what we get. Greenwald comments are just another red flag for the series. Maybe the biggest one was the recent casting call for the three main characters for Harry, Ron, and Hermione. The casting call was which was published on the official Harry Potter website, Wizarding World, noted the production team was committed to inclusive, diverse casting. For every role, please submit qualified performers without regard to ethnicity, sex, disability, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, or any other basis protected by law unless otherwise specifically indicated. The casting call is not surprising in modern Hollywood. Yeah, the freaking Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is like everyone was calling her out because she was like, "Oh well, I never said that Hermione was white," but like the book gives her a very distinct description of Hermione. You know, you can't really like you can say, "Oh well, you can't argue with the author," but the description was written down, so it's already on from thought to page. So just because she comes out with like, "Oh, I never said that," it's like, yeah, you did on this page right here. You clearly gave a description of what the character looks like. Um, Nevertheless, Rowling and Max executives have claimed that the series will be an authentic to the original books, except for all the gender and race swapping. Other than that, it's going to be exactly like the books. Until they find out that maybe she doesn't want to have certain changes, and then they throw her off the project because despite the fact that she is the one who created the story, she's not they don't have any obligation to keep her there as a consultant or anything, so they can easily throw her off because they have the rights to make them show. So once they have the rights, it doesn't matter. She can't just say, "Oh, well, I want you all to stop." It's like, "All right, we're going to shoot the next scene." So, um, you know, till they start doing Rings of Power crap and having shipping that doesn't, or characters that aren't even supposed to be there in that timeline, or things that are happening that aren't supposed to happen, or whatever the case is. You know, uh, when the show was initially announced, Warner Brothers Discovery announced the stories from each of Rowling's Harry Potter books will become a decade-long series, but produced with the same epic craft, love, and care that global franchise is known for. Their series will feature a new cast of I mean, it'd be kind of weird getting the original cast back. I mean, Daniel Radcliffe is Harry. No, I mean, an older Harry, and people are like, he better be like James or something. Like, they want to see the original cast play some kind of role in the show. Even if it's, Daniel playing the role of his father, James, or, whatever. But it's like, yeah, it'd be cool to have them kind of, show where it started and where it is now. But um, this series will feature the cast, much loved characters and dramatic locations that Harry Potter fans have loved for over 25 years. God, I'm old. God, I'm old. I mean, I remember reading the books in middle school. Each season will be authentic to the original books, and bring Harry Potter and the incredible adventures to new audiences around the world, while the original, classic, and beloved films will remain at the core of the franchise and available to watch globally. Rowling added that at the time, Max's commitment is to preserving the integrity of my books. Yeah. Amazon said the same thing about Rowling's Tolkien's work, and look what happened. Um, and it's important to me. I'm looking forward to being a part of the new adaptation, which will allow for a degree of depth and detail only afforded by a long-form television series. HBO and Max's content chairman and CEO Casey Bloys added, "We are delighted to give audiences the opportunity to discover Hogwarts in a whole new way." He added, "Harry Potter is a cultural phenomenon, and it is clear there is such an enduring love and thirst for the wizarding world. In partnership with Warner Brothers Television and J.K. Rowling, this new Max Original series will dive deep into each of the iconic books that the fans have continued to enjoy for all these years." Arrive 2026, which is not that far from now. We've not been shy about our excitement around Harry Potter. The last film was made more than, God, I'm old. A dozen years ago. More than 10 years ago. I think it's been, was it 2012, 13 or something? Deathly Hallows came out. Getting old. It's not fun. I was in London a few weeks ago with Casey and Channing, and we spent some real time with JK and her team. Both sides are thrilled to be reigniting this franchise. Our conversations were great, and we couldn't be more excited about what's ahead. He added, "We can't wait to share a decade of new stories with fans around the world on Max. We're aiming for a debut in 2026. You liar! How dare you stand where he stood? I'm sure they could have gotten a writer that's actually read all the books. Having JK there is one thing, but having everyone with their own knowledge of the story and the books, then, just in case she's not there for whatever reason. Gary Oldman admits his acting as Sirius Black in the Harry Potter franchise would have been better if he read the books. You never would have guessed, because he's just an amazing actor. And that was the great part of the direction when he was working on the movies, because they gave him, like Alan Rickman. You want to know why he was so good at Snape? Why the role of Snape was so good? Because J.K. Rowling told him everything he needed to know from the very start of the series to the very end. He knew what was going to happen to Snape. He already knew. That's why the role is so convincing. That's why he's so good. He doesn't even have to read the books, but the people working on it were so good. And JK told him, like, yeah, this is his motivation. This is what's going to happen to him. So even back then, she had this, clear path for him in her mind. But yeah, Gary Oldman, he was good at Sirius Black. But that's obviously, being an actor is different than being a writer. A writer who's taking on this massive series, and this huge order of adapting the books. Each one book going to be an entire season. Yeah, that's a little different. So knowing your stuff in this case, it's kind of important. It's not an actor being fed, like, oh yeah, here's your motivation for the scene and this and that. No, you're the writer. You're going to be sitting there writing the script and writing the story and all that. Completely different. So having knowledge of it probably would help a lot more. But JK being there, doesn't mean anything. They had people working, you know, people who knew about Lord of the Rings working on Rings of Power, and they were kicked out as soon as they started questioning, like, why are you guys doing this? Like, you're that's not what happens. And they're like, sorry, we don't need you anymore. Bye. We already have the rights to Lord of the Rings, so we don't need the professionals here anymore. Bye. So it's going to be the same thing with her. It's going to be the same thing with her. They're going to start trying to make changes that weren't actually in the book. She's going to question it, and then they're going to kick her out. So, oh well. It has potential, but I have the feeling it's going to go exactly the way we think it is. If it's going to go down the Rings of Power route, we know exactly how it's going to end up. So, at least we have the movies and the various video games. A bean! Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.